Hey, I'm Dr. Kate Walker. Welcome to your Tuesday training. And if you're watching this on a replay, listening to this on the podcast, then you know it's probably not Tuesday. But if you were a Step It Up member, you could totally be here live with me. So I'm going to get other people in here. I'm going to hit, make sure I've got all of my devices silenced because I hear all the dinging. How do I do this? Wait. Nope. There we go. All right, let me get Sari in here and turn the volume off here. Nope. There we go. All right. So today is all about the 4-year rules review. And I'm getting you guys prepped because next week we're not going to have a training. We're not going to have our Tuesday training. I sent you guys an email about that. I will also, make sure to post it in the Facebook group because I want you to go to the LPC town hall meeting. Now, what's that all about? Let's review. Let's go back and talk about what is the rule review, the 4-year rule review. Why do we do it? But before I do that, I'm going to close my door because I can hear my dryer running. Hold on. You want to stay in here? You want to get out? Okay. Good. Okay, so in Texas, there are some checks and balances when it comes to licenses and organizations and government entities, yada, yada. And so one of those things we were intimately aware of a couple of years ago, the Sunset Review, which is basically, I think, every 10 years, various agencies are gone over with a fine-tooth comb just to see if they're still useful, if they're still doing their job, if they're still protecting the public, serving the public, making sure Texans are served by the organization, which is a wonderful thing. So the 4-year rules review is not that extensive when I'm comparing it to the Sunset Review. So it is exactly what it sounds like. It's going through the rules and cleaning them up for the most part. And I will show you exactly what that looks like. So really, there are a couple of parts to this. So in a 4-year rules review, you'll see things like they're fixing grammar errors, they're fixing redundancies. Like if it says it over here, then why do we say it 5 more times over there? But in Texas, with the establishment of the Behavioral Health Executive Council a couple of years ago, or BHEC, we did something kind of special, right? We sat down at the table and it was cool because I got to sit at the table, or I wasn't at the table. I was out in the audience watching the table, but it took about 12 hours. And we had the member board, social work, LPC, LMFT at the table aligning their rules. And it wasn't an effort to get rid of professional identity. Right, LPCs are still LPCs, social workers are still social workers, LMFTs are still LMFTs, but it was things like, ticky-tack things like, what kind of a punishment should we dole out if somebody doesn't put their name on a form, etc. Hold on, I'm going to get the dog out of the room because he likes to jingle while I talk. Come on, Andy, you gotta go, buddy. I know, you just don't like it when I talk. Thank you. And so with that alignment came sort of this new entity, right? BHEC, which is the BHEC board or organization, and the 4-member boards, LPC, LMFT, social work, and psychology, and the alignment of many of the aspects and elements of those rules. Well, that was done. It wasn't done in a hurry, but the mistakes can be made. So it's nice that every 4 years, we're not only going to look at things in the rules that are redundant or misspellings or just messy. We're also going to look at things that don't align with our member boards. And again, nothing to compromise our professional identity, but just things to make it easier for staff to streamline the process, because that was a big deal at the Sunset Review. It was, oh my gosh, why do we have 3 years of backlogs? Why are we fighting so hard to get, people upgraded. If you were there, you know. So what I'm going to go through today is I'm going to help you find what you need to find so that when you attend the town hall for LPC next week, and it's happening next week, that is Tuesday. Let me grab my calendar. Tuesday the 13th at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here in Texas. So I want you to be there. I want you to be informed. I want you to, make comments. And that's the other thing I'm going to show you today. In the email I sent our Step It Up members this morning, there were links so you could do all the things I'm going to talk about today. You can make a comment on the rules. You can attend the town hall meeting. You can propose a rule. You can do all kinds of things with the links that I put in the email. So I am going to screen share. And so if you're listening to this, just I will walk you through it so you can get a visual of what I'm doing. So first things first, when I share my screen, I'm going to take you to the Behavioral Health Executive Council main page. Here we go. Okay, so if you have this saved on your desktop or laptop or tabs, good for you. I just type in BHEC and it goes right here. So then, of course, I go over here and click the board that I'm interested in. And LMFTs and social workers, I'm not ignoring you. Your town hall isn't until later. LMFT, yours may have already happened. And remember, the town hall is just what it sounds like. It's a time for us to attend virtually, to ask questions, to make sure we understand all the issues, and go through what the staff is finding that they want to change. So we go to the LPC board, and the page looks like this: Texas State Board of Examiners of Professional Counselors. And now how to get to the information about the 4-year rules review. You go over here to meeting dates, agendas, and minutes. And when you click that, it's super easy to find. You make about a half a scroll, and down here, it talks about upcoming meetings. It's also called the Quadrennial Rule Review Town Hall. So what I'm going to draw your attention to is individual staff findings. So when we click individual staff findings, you're going to see a PowerPoint. And that PowerPoint is great. It's wonderful because what we can do is it will help us prepare and understand exactly what's going on, what's at stake, what they're looking at. The other thing I'm going to draw your attention to, and I want to make sure I'm taking you to the right place. Yes. Okay, so what I did was I clicked on, so there are two things here. I scrolled about a quarter of a little turn here on my mouse, got to the August 13th Quadrennial Rule Review Town Hall. And there are two links. One is individual staff findings. The other one is announcement. When you click announcement, it will take you to a fancy letterhead document. And here is the information. In lieu of attending in person, members of the public are encouraged to access and participate virtually in this meeting by entering the URL address here. And I'm not going to click that because then I will get a notice that I'm actually trying to enter the Zoom meeting, and I'm not. I don't need to do that. And you'll also see how you can make written comments, and that form I will open because I think it's super cool because they're using Google Forms or something that looks like it. And you can make a written public comment on the rule review. So after we go through what we're going through today, you guys ask your questions. If you want to make a comment before the meeting, in addition to attending the meeting, you do you, but it's super easy to do. You just enter your name, your email address. Are you a Texas resident? Yes. check all of the licenses you hold. And number 5, are you commenting on behalf of an organization? And the answer is usually no. When I was the liaison for the TASES, TASES to the LPC board, I was representing TASES. So I would have checked yes and then entered TASES here, but I don't think that's you guys. So you would click no, and then you would put which organization you are addressing. And since we're talking about LPC, you might want to put LPC. And then the rule number you're commenting about, and your actual comment. And now note a warning, when you click comment or you click submit, it will give you an opportunity to create an account, and you can save your answers, et cetera, et cetera. I just copied and pasted it into a Word document. So that's that's how I did it. So going back here, so I'm going to take you to, let's see what's going on. Let's see what's on the chopping block. Let's see what's going on and what's being reviewed. So in the 2024 rule review, we'll have things that are being repealed. Now, repealed means chop, right? Gotten rid of, done. And so don't freak out too much, although there are a couple here that I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want that to go away. But for example, you'll see in red for 681.37 billing and financial arrangements, the licensee employed or under contract. I'm not going to read all that to you. The note in red says they want to repeal that because it oversteps the jurisdiction. So then, and so I'm assuming that if you don't know what that is, and that concerns you, you would ask a question about that. General ethical requirements. This is interesting because it talks about a licensee discouraging a client from holding exaggerated or false ideas about their services, discouraging others who the licensee does not control from making misrepresentations, exaggerated or false claims, and a licensee may take reasonable action to inform. Oh, wait, let me just do C and D first, since that has to do with marketing and making sure other people understand your credential. Their comment is that's unenforceable. So that's why they want to repeal those two things. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. It seems like you could enforce that if it was in black and white. That's my opinion. I will go to the town hall and see what folks think about that. Letter F kind of shocked me for a second. A licensee may take reasonable action to inform medical or law enforcement personnel if the licensee determines there's a probability of imminent physical injury by the client to the client or others, or there's a probability of immediate mental or emotional injury to the client. I was like, whoa, don't get rid of that. And then I see in red, it's governed by another law. So in that case, they're not getting rid of it. They're streamlining. Drug and alcohol use, they're noticing that I guess it's duplicative. It's duplicated someplace else, so they're going to streamline. Assumed names, they say this is governed by another law. I'm not sure which other law, so I'm gonna have questions about that. Advertising and announcement. So this is more about the false, misleading, et cetera, et cetera. But this was one that says that makes a representation that is designed to take advantage of the fears or emotions of a particularly susceptible type of patient. That wording, I don't think I like that. And they are saying it's unenforceable. General academic requirements. Yikes, they're repealing it. No, it's governed by another rule. Again, if that is something you're interested in, I would definitely try to see what other rule does govern that. The LPC associate license, it says they must follow the rules. And it's like, I guess that's duplicative. Duplicative. I'm getting a new word under my tongue. Experience requirements. Duplicated, okay. Examinations. Unnecessary, non-regulatory. So the development or administration of the examination may be contracted to a national testing company. I don't understand that. I guess it's just this is informational and they don't think it's a regulation. I don't know. I would have questions. This one, it says oversteps the agency authority. So this is when a conditional letter of agreement goes out, when someone has been accused, whether the conduct or omission complained of appears to violate duty. So they'll send out a conditional letter of agreement that specifies the immediate disposition of the complaint. If the licensee fails to comply, and I'm summarizing, fails to comply with all the council ordered conditions, staff will open a new complaint. So I don't really understand this. I have questions. So this now, okay, so that section was provisions needing to be repealed. Now we are at the section of provisions needing updates and standardization. So this is probably going to be more along the lines of the legalese, making sure that everything aligns with what's already in place. So we, of course, see parenting coordination, facilitation, child custody evaluation, licensing of military service members, board meetings, committees, agendas, and telepractice. So I guess they want to make sure that they're using the right term here. And that doesn't surprise me since, COVID came upon us and we were still using terms like technological means. Maybe there's a better word. Maybe there's a standard word everybody uses. All right, so that's it. That was a short section. Finally, we've got provisions needing amendment to align with operations. So for example, client records. For each client, a licensee must keep accurate records of signed informed consent, consigned written receipt, or in the case of involuntary treatment, a copy of the appropriate court order. Their note is signed consent is not required if the therapist is employed by the agency or institution. Interesting. So, because there's a rule in place that if the client is able to say they consent. Anyway, I don't want to get into the weeds here, but I have questions about that. That's interesting to me. And then letter B, in the absence of applicable state and federal laws, 7 years from the date of termination or 5 years after the age of majority. That's a lot of math. So they're going to clarify and simplify and just say age 23. Yay, go. I'm on board with that. General need to add the requirement to submit a report from the National Practitioner Data Bank. I thought they already did that. Now we have, they want to get rid of the word, no, they want to clarify the term approved. They don't like the word approved. They don't like approving. They don't want to be in the approval business. So one of the things they're looking at is all applicants for LPC licensure must complete supervised experience acceptable to the council of 3,000 clock hours under a council-approved supervisor. They just want that. I don't know what they want there. Question. Okay, supervisor requirements. I'm not going to read all of that. They want to clarify language related to dates the supervision is revoked. So if you're a supervisor, and something happens to you and you lose your supervision status, that affects everything. It affects the money that your supervisees have paid you, and of course the clients the supervisees are seeing. So they want to clarify that. So these are provisions needing board consideration. So there's a lot here. And I'm not going to read all of it to you, but we have definitions. We have informed consent. Is it necessary to include a supervisor's address? I say no. Conflicts, boundaries, dual relationships, and termination of relationships. What are the necessary limits of relationships with former clients and relatives? That's huge. That's one of the things I've been trying to bring to everyone's attention, especially in rural communities, small towns. We've got licensees in the council. What is the scope of violations? A licensee has the duty to report. Required application materials. Should licensees be required to practice 5 years before being eligible to supervise? There's a lot on here, folks. There's a lot of stuff that they're going to be putting the old fine-tooth comb over. Should the supervisor course 2-year expiration be removed? So in other words, if you take the 40-hour course in 1990, is it good forever? That scares the heck out of me. Future consideration, academic course content, LPC associate license. Should associates be required to submit a new supervisor agreement form as supervisors change? Yeah, I think so. And experience requirements. There's a lot of stuff here that they're looking at that relating to supervision. What is the extent of a supervisor's duty? What level of supervision notes should be kept? Yeah, I'm going to have lots of questions when I show up at the town hall meeting next week. So let's stop the share for a second. And I'll tell you right now, I have made some comments. I have even proposed a couple of rules because you see my reaction, right? Even just now going through it, I'm like, here's what I think. So I think I kind of know what I'll be doing this week. I'm going to be writing up my comments before the town hall meeting because I want to make sure I have my thoughts together because I have thoughts. So, but that is the PowerPoint that staff put together just so that everybody's prepared and looking at the same thing that they're looking at as they go through the rules review. Now, I want to turn it over to you guys. And so you guys know that when I turn it over, I pause the recording, we can chit chat. But I think this time what I'd like to do is to keep the recording going just so that it'll jog my memory. I want to remember your questions, but I am happy and I will edit out all faces, voices, all of that stuff when I put this together to go into your Step It Up member profile. So with your permission, I'm going to leave the recording on, but I will edit out everything from this point. So what question, and there's no silly questions. I went through all of this fast. What questions do you guys have? Everybody know how to log in, everybody know how to attend, everybody know where to find everything. I don't mind resharing my screen and showing you where everything is. Okay, so what I am going to do is I'm going to share one more time where you can go if you want to propose or comment. So again, we're going to go to meeting dates, agendas, and minutes. We scroll down here to the individual staff findings. That's the PowerPoint I showed you. The announcement is where we find all the links. So providing comment, you're going to open the link and you can make your comments here. So it's easy. You just grab the PowerPoint. It gives you the rule. So if you see the rule, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to see the rule. I'll note the number. And so when I'm making my comment down here at the bottom, it's going to ask me, please provide the rule number if commenting about a specific existing rule. I'm going to make sure I put that here and then I'll enter my answer. And I'm going to try to do that, hashtag goals, get that done before this Friday. Just so that, if they are going to look at these things before the rules review, at least, they'll have it before that starts. Okay, guys, I'm going to shut it down. If you have questions, tag me in the Facebook group or send an email. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye.